Alright, this is Final Smash Vids. It's Malcolm and Nick. We're currently doing a playthrough of Kirby Super Star. Say hi, Nick.
No.
That's just Nick being stupid as hell, obviously. Alright, let's get down to it. Alright, this is Spring
For
Breeze.
whatever reason, we
Alright.
saw Spring Breeze. I don't know why it came up, but alright.
Alright, first off, you start off.
He started off with the worst game in the, worst thing in the game, but it's okay. It's okay.
Well, yeah, Spring Breeze was, the original Kirby, the first one they made. So they just remade it along with, having a helper and powers this time. Because on the one on Game Boy, the video game for Game Boy, actually, you couldn't have any powers. It was just you going around and spitting, the enemies back at the boss.
Like complete other crap.
Well, it wasn't that bad, but, we moved on.
Whatever you
First
say.
stage, green greens. Let's go. Alright, got a power there. Don't know if I should call it for a helper or none of that. Originally, I played this by myself. Every now and then I call a helper in. I just think it's funner without a helper sometimes. They usually, just get killed and explode.
Like black people.
Like black people. But black people don't explode. Because, you don't see that in movies. They either get shot or just, disintegrate, turn into Rubik's Cubes. Fantastic Four! That was a reference. That was a reference.
So what I did there.
What I did there. Alright, here comes the boss. I really like the design for this one. He looks pretty, cool. He actually influencing Nick, what he used to draw back then. He used to draw like that, all beady and junk. Alright, I call out a helper now. Alright. Originally, I think bombs are the best weapon in the game, but
They really are.
what's your favorite weapon, Nick?
Bomb, same thing.
Bombs, yeah. Just, it gives you, reach and stuff, and you can't really get hit if you're not too close, so...
I like to
chuck a
think of
bomb at 'em.
myself as some Bin when I'm using the bombs.
Yeah, if terrorists were, more mobile, I think they would actually get away with more stuff. Just saying. Any suicide bombers out there, take this as, some advice. Alright, turn them to bomb. Let's go down there and kick some fucking tree ass.
Keep in mind, I'm not playing as a second player. Otherwise, he won't like a retarded zombie.
That's true. See, the helper, he just stands there and takes anything that goes his way. But, it's a good thing because he just takes all the hits. Kind of like, when you play as Tails on, the Sonic 2 or Sonic 3 games. You usually just use them to fight the boss if you don't have any
That
range.
was fucked up. He
Yeah.
killed the helper and took his weapon.
Yeah, it kind of annoys me to watch him dance around with it, so I just usually kill him. Alright, that leads us to Float Island, Stage 2. I like all the little animations they put in the beginning of it. It's pretty funny. Alright, moving on. Fighter, there you go, Knuckle Joe.
The guy that's supposed to be in Super Smash Bros. They took him out because they're assholes.
Yeah, that really pissed me off. He should have been in Super Smash Brothers, but they made him an assist trophy. That game in general was just it's not bad. It's just I would have preferred a better character choice, like Little Mac from Punch Out. That would have been pretty cool seeing him fight with everyone else instead of an assist trophy. But there's always room for another one if they feel they should.
Hey, but they said they're not making any more.
That's true, but Sakurai himself did say that he didn't particularly like the way it came out. But he also said he didn't particularly like the way Melee came out, and we love that game. So we'll see what he has in store. There aren't any Kirby games out to date that I'm aware of anyway. If you know any Kirby games that are coming out, please give a link. I'd like to know about that. Alright, here you go.
That was
like
rape.
I just raped him, just right up to him. Love lollipops. They never explain why that makes you stronger, but you just simply accept it.
I just think of it as crack.
The crack that makes you stronger. Indeed. Crash. Oh, I totally got hit by that. Another thing I like about, some of the powers in Kirby, it's not like you just have it, it's like you became a part of it. So you do kind of, like for ice, for instance, it's like you skate. It's like you feel you have the power yourself. I don't know, it's pretty weird. I can't really explain it all the way. I just feel like I'm not Kirby. I'm Kirby with the power. Doesn't feel like a skin. Put it that way. There you go. All right, that's in us that level. I didn't really kill the bosses. I mean, kill the helper this time. You know, I just felt I'd leave him alive. It's whatever. I don't care. All right, let's go to stage 3. Keep in mind, Spring Breeze is the easiest one. I personally think it's a tutorial.
I like to call it crap, but yeah, sure.
Well, yeah. In all understanding, this is pretty much, one of the worst games on this thing. But it's not even bad. It's just, it could have been filled with another. It could have been filled with another spot. But I can understand because we were kids back then and kids needed tutorials. But nowadays it's to hell with tutorials. Just get out there and go fight. Speaking of fighting, Nick, why don't you go ahead and define what fighting is? For our
See,
viewers.
you're fighting is when you fight for no reason. So when you fight, you're fighting.
Take
Fight
Cloud.
me?
Take Cloud for instance. Basically, what I thought the plot for Final Fantasy 7 was before I played it was Cloud's the chosen one. Here you go. Take this sword. Now you're fighting. I mean, that would have been the easy way to go. But of course, it's more, more complex than that. But here at Final Smash, we like 7. We just think it's overrated. Please don't flame us for that. We just don't like 7 all that much. We think there are better Final Fantasies out there, like 9. Just saying. Just saying. Sony, if you want to re-release that on, PSN, we're totally not gonna, be mad at you for doing that. Just saying.
Chrono Cross, best RPG on PlayStation 1 ever.
IMO, just saying. Well, that's enough for that. Let's see. Let's get back to our little review here. Right now, I'm blinking because I have the mic power right now, and the mic is basically it clears the screen of all enemies. So you get 3 tries at that. There you go. I did it once. My favorite one is the final one where he turns into a little punk rocker or whatever. He gets a little mohawk. I like that. It pretty much shows all different genres of music if you kind of look into it. Punk, metal.
You didn't know to
rock
go
and
to
all
the
that.
moon?
Well, I knew to go. It's just I didn't do it because I was just flying around being stupid. Because Spring Breeze is really easy. I didn't want to cut to the chase. That and I was about to die too, and I wanted to use that. Being pretty dumb. I didn't go to it this time. I wanted to beat the little Spring Breeze, whatever. Alright, at this point, you can see I'm probably most likely gonna die because in Kirby, if you have like 1 health left and no helper, you're pretty much done for. Well, let's see what happens. Oh, okay, I beat him. Didn't know. For this
Yeah,
particular
this game
Kirby
that
game,
damn
you did
easy.
need skill. Well, you kind of needed skill because you needed platforming experience, but in the end, it was.
And if you don't know how to play a platformer, then you don't play games. You suck. Platforms are the most easiest form of games ever. So
Which brings me to my next point. Prinny, Can I Really Be Hero? That game seriously kicks ass. It's a very good platformer. It feels like you're playing Disagaea at the same time. It's weird. I don't know, because they still made it like an RPG, but not really. It's a platforming RPG. It's really cool. You should check it out for PSP. But yeah, this is the final fight of Spring Breeze. About to fight King Dedede. In my opinion, one of the, funniest, best bosses ever. I'm glad they put him in Brawl. It was well needed. It just made too much sense. He was supposed to be in Melee, but for time restraints, they didn't do it. Along with Lucas and, a lot of characters that appeared in Brawl. So just think if they did appear in Melee, would they still be in Brawl, or, would they have replaced them with better characters? You gotta think about that.
like they took out Roy and put Ike. Don't know why they did that.
That was a horrible downgrade, if you ask me. A horrible downgrade. Alright,
If anything, they should have took Marth and put Roy.
that take care of King Dedede. Watch him fly away. I always thought, since Sakurai, some of his, animations and stuff, I thought he kind of implemented some of that into Brawl and Melee and all the Super Smash Brothers games. Because, you usually see when you knock a character upward, they go, whoa, and they, turn to a star in the background. I also think they put that in, they got it from Pokemon too. But
Yeah, that's what I thought they got it from. Team Rocket.